This is my first ever painting. I made it when I was around 8 or 9 and I was thoroughly impressed with myself. We've got the winking sun, some tall flowers, a couple bees carrying honey, a watering can, and a tall tree that's home to a robin. I'd like to think that my skills have since improved, so today I'll be remaking my first painting, 15 years later. I started by adding white all over my canvas. It's apparently supposed to let the colors blend better. I then added some light blue for the sky because I felt like the colors of my 8-year-old painting were a bit too saturated. One thing I never did when I was younger was painting around the sides of the canvas. I do it now because my mom told me that it makes the painting look more finished, and I have to agree. My original painting didn't have clouds, so I decided to add a couple and then I moved on to the positioning of the sun. I used white to create a circle in the sky just to map it out, and then started the grass. The original painting was kind of flat, so I added some rolling hills in the background just to spice up the landscape. I added some tufts of grass, just like my reference, and started the tree. The original tree was not very good. I didn't understand how to make the leaves look like they were full while still showing the branches, but I've since gotten better at foliage. I then covered the camera with my big fat head and started dancing. This is part of the artistic process. While you couldn't really see me painting the first pot, you can see me painting the second one. And I was pretty proud of the shading I did. I moved on to the stems of my flowers, not forgetting the little leaves on the sides, and then moved on to the watering can, which my big fat head also covered. One habit I've kept is that I still like to finish my paintings in one sitting, because if I have to take a break, I get bored and disinterested. So this ended up taking me about 2 hours. I did stop to pee once, and I ate some eggs, but other than that, I was completely sedentary. And this is what I was listening to. But if you were in the room, it sounded like this. I then remembered that the watering can had little green polka dots, so I added those in. But it kind of looked like the watering can had a bunch of holes in them because I used the same green as I did for the grass. Oopsie! I then painted the little butterflies on the flower pots and started painting shadows. After that, I added the petals of the flowers, my canvas almost died, and I added more shading to the tree and some anthers to my flowers. While I had the yellow out, I finished up the sun, which wouldn't be complete without a little winky face, and then I made the bees. This was pretty scary for me because I just made a big yellow blob in the center of my painting, but once I started adding the black, I felt a bit better about it. Then I made their gross little legs and added their buckets for collecting honey, which is actually how bees do it, and you would know that if you ever read a book. I added some more shading to the flowers because they felt a little bit flat, and then I mapped out the wings with white. But they didn't really look like anything, so I ended up using the light blue that I used in the sky without diluting it with white. And this felt more true to the original because I made their wings blue too. After I shaded the buckets, I painted a little robin on one of the branches of my tree. The original robin was on the opposite side, but this little nook just looked like the perfect spot for him. Then I bravely spelled out honey on the bigger bucket, did some touch-ups, and I was done. As a reminder, this was the reference. Some red flowers in blue pots with a butterfly on them, a blue watering can with green polka dots, some bees carrying honey buckets, a robin in the tree, and a mischievous sun. And here is the same painting 15 years later. All of the original details stay the same, and all that's changed is my style. This is really fun to do, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'd like to think that if I showed 8-year-old Karina this painting, she'd be impressed with how far she's come. But she was mean, man. I bet she would just roll her eyes and scoff at me. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye!